no, this stream was deleted on Facebook. Try or just remove destination and re-add it. What?
We are live now anyway.
Oh,
yeah.
hello everybody.
Hello. So say, yeah.
Just like Liverpool FC, we're a bit of a mess today. How are you doing? Welcome to the Gags Tandon show.
Tonight, oh good mate. I started my stream before Gags, looking into the abyss on the Daily Red. So hello everyone. For a good 10 seconds for me. So, so good.
So, how you feeling, Jack, after that?
Disappointed, mate, but there's some big performances to come out of that, really. Well, lack of big performances from a lot of senior players, or some of the main senior players, which we will discuss this afternoon, mate. Obviously, with a big summer planned for Liverpool in terms of the fringe players improving that quality.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, disappointing to say the least, mate. But yeah, I know your views, as we will get into it, mate. You coming into the season, obviously the Premier League and Champions League for every Liverpool fan were the big priorities. But when you're in a position like this afternoon where, but Plymouth, hands up, you deserve it, mate. Say to a man, every single one of their players wanted it more this afternoon. And it's very rare that we can say that about an Arnie Slot team, but that was the case this afternoon, mate.
This is what happens, Tony Steele says, when you don't take the competition seriously. Did any of your players besides end up a shift? Okay, so there's a few things to cover off here, and I think I'll just get them out of the way before we talk. I don't really want to talk about the game, but we can, because we just, it got to do it justice. So first and foremost, I was getting some stick from Grizz on Chat G&G this week about not giving a shit about this game, but that comment from Tony there just tells you what the manager thinks of this competition and where it is on his priority list. Yeah. And I actually think that the manager is thinking very much like me in that case. So, or maybe I'm thinking like the manager. Let's be honest. I'm thinking like the manager in this case. And whilst it's very embarrassing for that set of players to lose like that, to lose the game, it's very embarrassing for Liverpool FC to lose in this way as well. And some of those players should have a look at themselves. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it's probably a blessing in disguise for us, if I'm honest. And I look at it in this way, and I think Simon Brundage is just saying to me, they have like 10 days. Arsenal have like 10 days off in between games coming up, and they have like one game in 17 or something days. One game in that time, we will be playing 5 Premier League games. So, I mean, I don't get how that works. I don't get how it works or when it works. But at the end of the day, I'm not as down as some of the guys are, like I don't maybe this was a nothing game for me. The team selection was criminal. We got what we deserved. Yeah, we got humiliated. You know what? Sometimes Liverpool fans need to stay humble. There's been talk of quads, this and that, and all the others. We all need, and maybe I even mentioned it. So I'm talking about myself here as well. We need to be staying humble more than anything than anyone. And to be honest, this is why I kept saying to everybody, focusing on the Premier League first and foremost over anything else is all that matters this season. Whether it's Plymouth, whether it's somebody else, hey, you get knocked out sometimes of big competitions. You can blame the ball, you can blame the pitch, you can blame the selection. Sometimes that's just what's going to happen. There was no midfield today, Jack. If you're blaming, because I know Ashik is saying, Diaz, Chiesa poor today, but
no savers,
nothing. How that was probably Harvey Elliott's worst game in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah, you watched the watch long, mate. Probably I know a lot of you did as well. And yeah, volleyball, Harvey, when we're playing football.
He was playing like Henderson at the end of his career at Liverpool.
I just don't get the constant. And it was a game like today, mate. And this is where, as I mentioned, he is a senior player now, Harvey Elliott. He played so many minutes in this Liverpool side. And games like today, like he was playing alongside Nioni and McConnell, 2 very inexperienced players. They needed help. And none of us are going to have a go at Nioni or McConnell because they're at the early stages of their development. But what you can do is look at Elliott, and a game of this magnitude, considering he spent 12 months or whatever it was at Blackburn the year prior, I expected, and a lot of us expected coming into this game, that Elliott would grab this game by the scruff of the neck and just start dictating the play. But as you said, mate, the last 10, 20 minutes of that game, constant balls into the box and obviously giving
Looping
away the
ones,
penalty. Yeah, it was ridiculous,
it's
mate.
really bad. I think when you look at it, when you look at this game, I think it proves one thing: Elliott needs to have quality around him to be able to be freed up to play that creative game. He's not going to be the one that works his arse off for the team, and or can, because he's got the physicality, not got the height, got the skill to play football, but doesn't have the other elements to play in, for that midfield, to be dependent on him solely. I don't think he has it, and I think this game was just some more evidence to those people that say that and talk of him in that way. I think he's certainly got enough creative elements to his game. Again, didn't show that today under pressure. This is where you kind of get the metal out. You see the metal of a player, and you see if they've got something in them that they're going to be able to, contribute when the team's down or needs to be lifted. Yeah. Harvey hasn't shown that today. Just hasn't.
I was going to say, I posed this question to you, mate, and I posed it to the chat. Has this team very much evolved past Harvey Elliott in terms of how Slot wants to play? Because I look at the physicality of Gravenberch, obviously Szoboszlai physically spot on, the both of them. Even McAllister can get stuck in and work really hard defensively. But I look at Elliott, like a game like today, and I know you just mentioned he shouldn't be getting, someone shouldn't really be holding his hand. Now, like, he should be coming into this game, and he shouldn't need to be having the help of other players around him. Like, he should be the player that everyone looks to, and like say Nioni and McConnell. It was disappointing, and there was lack of their service for the forward lads. But even still, Diaz, I think even when the lads did get little glimpses, it wasn't anything clear cut. But I don't know. For me, I just look at Elliott, and I think this midfield and this team potentially in the next year or so will very much evolve past Harvey Elliott in terms of what we physically demand, and most importantly, on the ball demand as well. Because on the ball today, he was absolutely appalling. Like he didn't even do the basics right, really, when he was trying to get that ball, trying to dictate play. Just nothing really worked. And if you can't do it against the Championship side, then what hope have you got in the latter stages of Champions League games and Premier League games, mate?
I completely agree. I'm going to read a few things from Discord. Congrats to Plymouth. Now go on and win it. In all seriousness, those Plymouth players will be buzzing. Happy for Plymouth. Really am. Like, I don't have any hate at all. It's completely a great day for Plymouth and football as a whole, because a team like us losing and going out to a team like that is a big story. But when I look at Eddie says fair play to Plymouth, they wanted it more. We'll give kids a pass, and it's a blessing in disguise. But the senior players involved need to hang their heads, hang it there in their heads. Oh, he means hang their heads in shame. Embarrassing performance. You're crap when your keeper has as many shots as on target as your attackers. Some of the players today, Rick J says, should be ashamed of that performance. Justin says, genuinely disgraceful from every senior player selected. Hung the for sale sign around all their necks. Shemedi says, we can focus on the league and Europe then. Red Eye says, we still finished ahead of Arsenal in the cup. That's a comedy one. Absolutely useless effort. Adrian H says, Willology says, really don't think it's that big of a deal. Way harder than people realize to play with a random team put together who have never played with each other before. Great point from Willology. Josh says, bit embarrassing, but really don't care. Happy for Plymouth. Some of the senior players, though. So, I mean, you can see what people are thinking here. There's a lot of fans that are going to say it's embarrassing. A lot of fans that are going to say, hey, it's fine. It's going to, we had to play this team for a reason, especially with 5 Premier League games coming up. And I'm in that camp. We've already done that one, and we've done here. This is the one, right? So Marco Lopez says, you can criticize the game plan against Plymouth, but if you want this team to be able to actually do the lead justice, you can't criticize the choice of prioritizing this over Everton. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But I think, Marco, there's another there's another point to it, that the team that did play with the seniors that were in it maybe should have played better, maybe could have done more. But I guess when the midfield is that weak, you're kind of asking for trouble because the front three in at least the first 60, 65 minutes just had no service at all. And by the time the ball got to the forwards, 11 men were behind the ball. 3 men really aren't going to do much.
And Gags, these are the lads that will be relied on if Liverpool are to get injuries as well. Let's not forget. Like within the team, like we do get sustainable injuries in terms of Sabozlai and all that, but the young lads still experience. But disappointing that Gomez did go off again injured. Again, it's another season where Gomez, you do wonder, looks like a hamstring possible injury. We might get the extent
That's
of
why
that.
I hate this cup though.
Yeah, it's just disappointing. Like,
I don't think we should be playing anyone who's a risk in these games. Like that could have a play. If that happened against Everton, you say, okay, fair enough, you still have to play him, but he wouldn't be playing. He maybe would have had more time to recover if he missed this game as well. Yeah. And against Accrington, we actually played a bit of a stronger team. There were, I think we had a stronger midfield. But yeah, at the end of the day, Marcos also disagree with sentiments over quadruples. Prove you can win the important one before entertaining for. Oh yeah, absolutely, Marco. Totally agree. Pratham says these games are opportunities for bench reserve players to get important minutes and perform well to push for the first team. So more disappointed that they didn't take their chance and perform. Absolutely. That's the only bit that you get more pissed off at, is that the players that did get a chance didn't do well. But then you have the counterpart, not the midfield. Like literally the midfield, we know as a Liverpool team, the midfield is your core. And if you have 2 kids in there plus Elliott, you might as well call it 3 kids really in there. They just had no control over the game, and slot ball is about control first and foremost. Let's be honest. No control over a game. Not much football passes into the front lot. Jota had 19 touches, I think, by about 75, 80 minutes or something. And Endo had 109 by then. Tells you everything in the game, right? You're not playing it in the other half. You're playing it in your own half and in your defensive kind of third and the defensive midfield like areas. And that's where the football was being played. So when your midfield just can't play a forward pass, can't find players, fair play to Plymouth. They got behind the ball real quick every time.
Yeah,
every time.
We got sucked into their game, didn't we, Gags? Like we all watched that game. We were pumping up balls long. It's typical Championship. It's one of the most physical, demanding leagues in European football. That's their bread and butter. And you look at the big lads. I think it's their striker that they brought on. He was about 6'9" or whatever, how tall he was anyway. But it was that notion of like similar cycles, go after it again. But I think in terms of when I analysed Elliott in terms of this afternoon, what I didn't like about in terms of him showing for the ball, he was very close in proximity of Chiesa. It was always constantly going down that right-hand side. I wanted Elliott to drift a bit more central, try and get on the ball and very much pirouette and try and open up a bit more space, getting behind the likes of their midfielders as well. But it was just far too interesting, especially the back end of the last 20 minutes as well. I think Schlott just said, right, just get to the back. He was playing as a centre half for the last 10 minutes. Elliott as well. So, but Neone and McConnell, they'll learn that they've got both got bright futures as a football club. They just needed a bit more help from the main senior player that was alongside them, and especially even the forward lads as well. Even they need to drop a bit more deeper, try and start linking up the play a bit better. Jota as well. So for me, it's very disappointing, mate.
I think I don't think you should be too disappointed, dude. At the end of the day, there's bigger fish to fry right now. Yeah, there is. I don't think you should be disappointed. I'm absolutely not gutted at all. I'm actually very happy for Plymouth. There's a good story out of this for a lower league side, and hopefully they can go and get a big away day somewhere where they can make some money at Old Trafford and probably beat Man United as well. But I think Marco was responding to Paul Smith here, who said we should have at least tried to achieve. I'm sorry, you can try to achieve an impossible, but you know what you're asking for? You're asking for this squad is not. I have been going on about this since November. And please try and listen, because I've spent the last 8 years working with this sports scientist on under pressure, right, called Simon Brundage, who is drilling this shit into our heads in terms of how much time these players need or whatever and all this stuff. There's a reason why the manager has been playing the teams that he's been playing against, the PSVs, and in this game, because he knows they're low priority. He knows that there's bigger fish to fry. He knows that the squad actually is not big enough to do it. Hence why I was so pissed off at us not buying players in January. Because if you want to go for quads like fans like Paul do, I would like to win a quad too one day, because no one's ever done it. But you have to accept your squad is not strong enough to do it. And actually, it looks like my brother here, Marco, it's a good game to illustrate the lack of depth in the team. It's not a deep squad. Thankfully, we are I mean, I know Marco's going to think the same as me, because we've been doing this for a long time. And we've been watching football for a long time, and we're old. We got grays, man. You know, like quads are things you dream of. Pipe dreams. Don't even think about a treble, right? No. The best thing that we got a chance for is winning a Carabao right now, and we could be 9 points clear in the league if we focus on Everton, which looks like the manager has done by playing the team he has. So that's the focus. Get 9 points ahead. You've got all these big away games coming after that with Villa and City. You got to go and win those.
Yeah.
If you said to me, hey, you lose to Plymouth, you go and win 5 in a row in the Prem, I'd snap your hand off like every single day, 1,000 out of 1,000 times. Like, this humbling is fine. It's completely fine. It's acceptable. Now, if we mess up in the next 5, it just shows the squad isn't ready. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
It shows that everything that we've been saying about getting more players this is why. And then someone was saying, but cities can do it. The city teams can do it. And, you know, they've done it in the past, and they've done this. They've done it because they spent billions, and they have squad spaces, about 26 players, 27 players, which they can rotate around all the time. So they're all resting. They're all playing a different team each time. We can't do that. We don't have that. We have an ownership group that doesn't like to even put their own money in. And therefore, we have to focus on the Champions League and the Premier Leagues, because we have to get that money in to buy players, because our ownership doesn't want to put the money in. They don't want to put anything in. They can, because we earn loads. So they could put 50 million in every year for the last 5 years if they wanted to. We would have had 5 extra players in the squad.
Yeah.
And therefore, we could have accumulated a player each season, had 5 extra players in, could have been doing a lot better. But that's not who we are. So what does that mean? You have to focus on the competitions that you get, you know, that you actually can bring money in with. And those are the Premier League and the Champions League, unfortunately. Carabao, we got some easy draws to get to the semis. And then once you're in the semis, Plymouth's an easy draw too. But sometimes you're going to slip up. It's not always going to work your way. But the semi-final, once you get there, Jack, you got to play it. And we did, and we won, and we're in the final, and we're all going to go and enjoy the final. I'm not saying we won't, but I'm not going to be pissed off about going out in an FA Cup. I'm sorry. I have dreams and songs to sing of a different trophy, and it's not the FA Cup. I'm sorry. It's not the same thing it was when I was a kid.
Yeah, maybe pre-Jurgen Klopp, where it had been like once every 5 years, where we turn up at an FA Cup or a League Cup. Obviously, the League Cup win under Kenny was massive at that time, because he salvaged us from the very depths, really, in terms of the position we were at that time. But yeah, I'd agree, mate. I think it's about rotation. I think any Liverpool fan that was speaking about, and it wasn't even Liverpool fans, I think it was mainly just rival fans going, oh, he's trying to spin this narrative. No sensible Liverpool fan was going, oh, we want to be winning the quads. We know it's an impossible dream. It's just the rival fans going, oh, your quad's gone. Hang on, where's your team in this competition or whatnot? So for me, it's a disappointing. It's only Liverpool's 4th defeat of the season, and we're in February. We're playing boss this season.
You know, it's not. I don't even feel embarrassed. It's more embarrassing for those players that played the game more than anything. You know, I don't.
Same stage.
Like normally, I'd be ranting, dude. I'm not. Yeah. I'm so calm. The heart rate is proper down. No problem.
Yeah.
Because I didn't give a shit.
Development. Yeah. You need their development, though.
I know you did.
Yeah. I was disappointed, but I'm mainly frustrated, though. I wanted Elliott to turn up today, mate, and a couple more of the senior players. I wanted Casey to get an hat-trick and all that. Like, you've got that type of quality coming up against, like, Plymouth. No disrespect to them. They beat us. Well done. Congratulations. They deserve it. But it's that mentality. I don't like that mentality of the Arsenal mentality of just or just football teams, certain games where you expect to just turn up on the pitch and win a game of football. Doesn't matter about that. We know with the league and the Champions League, this season's going to be extremely difficult. We've got in the position in all the competitions to this point with hard work and hard graft and putting in performances. But there was I think it's given a massive indicating factor to what Schlott thinks at the end of the season in the window on certain players on the peripheral of this squad. Even Costas again. I haven't even got on him this afternoon again.
Awful.
He can't deliver the ball into the box. I don't know what.
Today, I don't even want anyone to blame the ball today.
No Arteta.
No. Look, I mean, Paul Smith's got it. Unpopular opinion among our fan base, but some we have come to the point where we have to admit he's never going to be a regular first teamer. Never. Like he's going to be he would be a good squad player, but he'd never be a first teamer at Liverpool. Just look at the players they got, man, with Szoboszlai, Jones, and Maka. He's nowhere near that level. He just isn't. Sorry. And I think we should just go through quite a lot of stuff here. We got quite a bit of livid. If I am seeing Gomez, Konza, Elliott, Costas, anywhere near the squad, well, they will be because we can't sell that many players and replace them because we're just not that type of squad, Mr. Well. We're a team club that sells that many and buys that many. Fabian says we were the risk was always there with that lineup. We were awful to watch. Agreed. They were given the chance to prove the slot. They failed. Correct. Jay Ruiz, this is an awful game. Is going to give us some pressure on the derby. I don't think so. Different team, mate. Completely different team. There's going to be zero pressure on the derby. Mr. Wa says Plymouth were rubbish as well. Goal ratio agrees that what we just been talking about. The game was lost in midfield. Can't blame defense or forwards. Elliott gave the pen away as well. Like literally, they didn't. It was a bad day.
Got an assist for Plymouth. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. Disappointing. Damo's back. Disappointment with his own performance. Fair play to Plymouth. Could be a blessing in disguise when we're chasing 20 and 7, especially when we're down to bare bones centre backs. Yeah, focus on 20, mate. 7's a long, long way away. It's too even early to be dreaming of 7 until you're to the semis. But I think 20 is not far away. It's like single digit games in my opinion. So just got to focus on the next 5. You win 5 out of that, you're talking to less than 5 games to a Premier League title. It's just so easy to think about. So for now, we're 1 game away from winning a trophy in Carabao. Yes, you focus on that when the time comes. But before that, we've got 5 Premier League, huge 5 Premier League games, huge. That's the focus, and we've already done this one. Palo says could be the saddest dressing room all season. Yeah, they will be disappointed in themselves. Drunk says Endo was our only good player today. Fair shout. Diaz was isolated. Mr. Well says surrounded by Dross. Yeah, and he didn't do really well when he had the ball either, to be honest. Paul Smith. Diaz is another conversation, mate. He's not turned it on since.
Yeah, well, we had the news over the last 24 hours, Gags, of the reports from obviously Sam Maguire and all that, and in terms of Diaz and the future, and obviously certain other players in that attacking line as well. And so games like not just today, but in terms of the getting players fully fit. But as I said at the top of the show, mate, it was just another reminder for Arne Slot. These aren't Arne Slot's players. He's got they're playing for him. They're playing for their future in terms of wanting to be in the starting 11 as well, mate. But yeah, it was a disappointing performance. I wanted more from Diaz, if I'm being honest. And it was the way in which they were arguing on the pitch with certain players didn't really look too good anyway, mate. But yeah, one of them. Disappointing to say the least.
Yeah. Sorry. He's saying this is what happens when we don't strengthen the squad. FSG take note. It's a good call out about the club not signing players. Once again, Richard has to sign players across the board, it seems. Here we go. We shouldn't even expect CL just win the league yet. We'll ignore that guy. Tony Goggins, midfield were terrible. What an effing joke. Yeah, we've gone all the way down. Is there anything else we could discuss here? I've said, here we go. This is a good one. I've said before, February and March never go well for the Liverpool team. This team today, too experienced, should know better. Well, I don't think this game can be used as a marker against Liverpool in February and March. It's a weak side. Loads of kids in midfield. Like we've been talking about at the start, it's just not going to go well, is it really? Not going to go well. Marco's back again like a game plan on the whole in how the team was going to win the game. If Slot and the team did get it wrong, it was about waiting too late to be more direct and increase tempo. Yeah.
100%. Like the only probably first teamers that are probably possibly getting is Jota and Diaz. The rest are all on the peripheral, really, of Liverpool's squad. Like the whole of that team, apart from Diaz and Jota potentially in the starting 11. So
imagine if we're forced to start with this awful squad. Oscar says might be a good thing to not be in the FA Cup if we've got 5 games in 15 days. Yeah, because literally the game after that would be an FA Cup game, and then it would be the Carabao as well. So it'd be like it would go nuts. It literally would. It's like it's going to be a blessing in disguise. Honestly, already looking forward to for positives to move on. Looks like we'll get almost a week off after Newcastle PL game for our use around. There you go. Exactly, Pratham. Thank you very much. So that's what the difference is, because you get that change. You get this game out.
That's lovely job, is that? Good rotation anyway.
Oh, here you go. At least Jack doesn't have to do a watch along of the FA Cup draw to save us from having watched the one show.
There we go, Damo. That's it. One of the positives anyway, boys.
That's good. Don't judge us by I went, I think. Am I back?
Okay. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I mean, one of my cousins went to Plymouth to watch that, so had a long drive. I'm feeling a bit sorry for him. Fair play
How
to him.
How far is the drive?
I think he's
to
down
Liverpool.
South.
Down south. Yeah.
No, he's down south. So it probably was a 3-4 hour. It was still a 3-4 hour drive for him, I think, or a bus. He was on a bus actually. So with the fans. So it's still So hats off to those. Hats off to those dedicated fans that do go down to those games and play and watch Liverpool play. Fair play to them. It's easy for us to judge from sitting from here, but they travel and they get to watch that dross. So I feel for them, really.
100%. It's it.
Good question here. What I don't understand is why Maka didn't even make the bench, since he didn't even start against Tottenham. Could have played 45. I don't think he was going to get rushed, Wadid. I really don't. I don't think he was going to get risked. Sorry, not rushed against Ev. I think he's starting at Ev, and it just made sense for him to play against Spurs because we wanted to get through to the final and we were in touching distance of Wembley, really, and then Slot experiencing something like that with this squad. So I think it's an easy decision to make. I'm not really fuming about it. Miles Walcott says, I am not sad, but we can't be in all the 4 competitions. I'd rather we focus on the League and League Cup, and then we look at Champions League games. Exactly. The 5 Premier League games coming up, you get as many points in them as possible. You're as close to that destination that you want to be, that was it. So the result isn't even that annoying. The performance of some of the senior players, however, is disappointing. Roll on to the derby. Absolutely. To the point about Maka, was Joe rushed back? Perhaps. I think so.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so. This is why I don't like this cup. Just, we had to rotate and we could have protected him. We should have just played Endo and Kwanzaa. And
I thought it was going to be Endo at the back, mate. Really surprised with that. But
really surprised. This is a bit harsh. Sorry to say, James McCullough will never be a Liverpool player. I was never on the McCullough hype train. I think he's a good player. I think he plays well when there's 2 other midfielders running around, for him. The more creative types. He's not going to be a creative player, but he'll break up the play and do well in there. I think he just needs some seniority around him in this game. He's still very young. Got some time to go. I wouldn't judge him off 1 game.
I think the balance in that midfield, as we've mentioned already in tonight, I think we had Elliott alongside him and Yoni. It was very unbalanced, really. There were a lot more, obviously, Yoni, very technical, quite big anyway, quite physical, really, but even still, he's only, 17 years old. He's not got the physicality of a Dominic Szoboszlai or even a Gravenberch as well. So, the balance this afternoon was very up in the air, really, at that Liverpool midfield. But it's all part of the learning curve. The thing about Liverpool fans, we're patient with certain players as well.
We should be
analysed. Yeah,
I think Elliott's had loads of chances.
Yeah. Mainly, obviously, Nioni as well and McConnell, mate. But on sense, what is he now? 22, 23 as well now, Elliott. So he is a senior. He's a senior figure He's played so many hours of football, really, as well.
Yeah. Did Slot prioritize the Premier League by not putting Curtis on strike? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Why?
100%.
You just lost Gomez. There's no way.
Mm.
Curtis is pretty injury prone, to be fair to him, and that
Mm.
pitch looked really hard as well today. Or
Bouncing.
the ball. Yeah,
ball
or the
was
ball
bouncing.
was bouncy. I don't know. It's going to be one or the other, right? Either the pitch was rock solid, or that ball was really bouncy.
I didn't know if I needed a new telly or my glasses on, mate. Was that bouncing for you, mate, or anyone at home? Because it was a ball to Elliott and it was just bouncing. I was like, hang on, I need to put my glasses
Everything
on.
was bouncing around. It was fun. But yeah, I agree with him. I think he's prioritized keeping the 4 of those midfielders fit so they can rotate one each game, and they get like a week off at some point each time so they keep fit. What are your thoughts on Kwanzaa? Fine, since he made that mistake against United, he's not looked the same player. What do you both think? Yeah, he's definitely lost some confidence post United game. What do you think?
And even
That was last year. This time last year.
Yeah, even the first game of the season, mate, when Slot took him off at half time. I think we remember that. He's still a young lad anyway, Kwanzaa. But like a bit similar with Elliott, give it a year or two, he'll be classed as one of the senior figures. He's played a lot of minutes, but again, he had a difficult game to say the least. But I think it was more a case of the players in front of him, even the players on either side. Unlucky to Mabea, it would have been extremely difficult for him. He didn't have the best game when he come on. He got taken off, as we know, and he got substituted. The substitute got substituted, but I think he's just and Slot done really well in terms of just pausing for the second, had a little word, and just said, yeah, that he's not like a Guardiola or Mourinho where he just like doesn't speak to him. Like it's a big learning curve for Mabea down that right hand side. He struggled, but yeah, Kwanzaa needed to step up today, but as we said with certain other players, a bit like Elliott and certain other the senior players on the peripheral Liverpool squad, sometimes when you've not got the big senior player alongside you, they're not always going to hold your hands. Because I think when Van Dijk plays alongside any centre half in Wales, like even when he plays for Holland as well, it's just the penny's got to drop with some of the players as well. You've just got to put in a performance. You can learn from them, but you've got to build on your quality really. And Kwanzaa for me wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Totally
one of them. Agree with everything you're saying. Where are we? Harsh. Oh, Mr. Wa agrees. Harsh on McConnell and Leone, like you just said, they're young. Elliott should help them out. But again, we've just discussed Elliott just isn't going to be able to help them out. He's just got not got that physicality, that control in his game, not got that pace either. He's too slow. So because he's slow, even lower league teams, you just need a couple of pacey guys in there against him, and the physicality part is gone. He's not quick enough to touch it past and run past them. Just isn't. He needs time on the ball so he can find, and so therefore he needs the destroyers and the builders next to him, to do that, so he can play 10. Really, I don't think he's an 8 actually. I think he's either going to play right wing or 10, and he won't be the best as a right winger either. He's just no pace. Just needs that space in front of the midfield. Defense doesn't need to play passes, but in front of the defense. Sorry, just behind, as a 10 in front of the opposition defense to try and pick out players and stuff. And he needs time. He's just not got it. So Miles says we have to invest in quality players to give depth to give us some depth and academy players, mate. Yep, we do. And then, would you have rather started Darwin instead of Jota or both? I don't think it matters, Marco, because you need someone passing to them, and they couldn't get on the ball in the first half. Nobody could. Yeah. Did you see Chiesa? Every time he got on the ball, they were all over him. There was no chance of space or midfielders helping make space, or Mbaya, is that how you're saying? Wasn't even overlapping Chiesa or like getting close to him so that they could actually make some space, for each other. Or caused any kind of those problems. So I think the nerves were there from some of the kids as well today. So it's okay. It's okay. It's like I'm not going to scream about this one, to be honest, or get too upset. Our priority in the summer window is to sign 2 quality centre-backs. We should have bought one now and then one then because it's easier, but we try and make things harder for ourselves, Paul. Do you think this result shows that squad depth isn't as strong as we thought? I think the extended squad depth, yes, to go to like 4 trophies isn't enough for sure. I think if you want to do like a couple of trophies like we just done Carabao in the Premier League right now, it was okay, to get by with that. But I think later in the season, if we're just in the CL and the PL, it's probably good to get by as long as you're not getting major injuries. So now the other question with Heed is, if you get 3 or 4 injuries, you'll find that this squad is, thin bare.
So it's going to be a long way to go, mate. I think we've been very lucky at this moment of time. Yes, it's been good rotation from Slot, but let's be honest, we've been very lucky with not getting many injuries so far this season. So, yeah, and the part and parcel of the game, and this is where next season's going to be massive. But even still, we've got a lot of football to play this season, mate. And let's not forget, we were in this position last season, and we know what happened. So, fingers crossed that doesn't.
Well, I'm hoping it's not luck, because that's what Grizz thinks anyway. I'm really hoping it's not luck, Jack, that we haven't got injuries, and it's because of the way that we're managing the players and the way that they're training. I know with Klopp, they used to train real hard, like all the time. Training used to be real solid. But I've heard that with Slot, they look at how the player's doing post-match, and they measure it all on the next day or whatever, and then or even the whole squad, and then they say, right, training starts at this time, ends at this time, and it's regimented. So it's like, if it was like a 3-4 hour training session, it's like down to 1. If it's like, or half an hour, even if it's like they're tired or stuff like that. So whereas Klopp was every day, they were going at it, and if they had a big win, they used to get a day off sometimes. But I think with these guys, you can see that they're chilling. When you do the inside angle, they're chilling at the bar, the coffee bar, this and that. It's more about building that up at the team and giving them the rest and doing all of the yoga type of stuff. There's loads of things that the Liverpool are doing, like loads of yoga at the moment as well. The squad is. So it's like stretching their limbs more, giving them that relaxation, breathing. It's getting that oxygen into your every single muscle, if you can, to make it recover. So I don't know. We're going to find out at the end of the season if these things and these methods are working. I pray, man, that these things do work, because if that's the case, then we would definitely get, a Carabao in our belt and a PL, and fingers crossed we can try and do something with the CL.
Yeah, it gives them a bit of confidence as well, mate, if we can get our hands on a trophy this early on in the season. But I think even saying the next couple of years, I think that's nice, Arnie. If he can get a trophy in this early in his career, it'd be great. But I think it's just give the lads the confidence that not that they need the boost because they played well, but I think going into the next couple of years, I think then Slot might, for the next couple of years, might park the competition if, say, if he wins a League Cup or whatnot. But, of course, when we get into deeper competitions, you want to be seeing winning games, mate. But you've calmed me down. Chat, you have calmed me down as well. In terms
we don't
of...
have... we don't have what Slot said. We don't have Eddie. I think Eddie's like giving up for the day as well. So he's not watching or producing for us. So he hasn't given us what Slot said. We'll try and search for it in a sec if we can. But we'll get there. With Kwanzaa, again, we'll do some more round of comments. With Kwanzaa, Pratham says, I feel people hyped him way too much last season, which led to very high expectations. This season's still very young, so I feel he's fine. Ideally, let him develop under Slot. Mr. Wan says, Virgil tax makes any partner look world class. Yeah. Asger says, totally agree with Chiesa. It was being mobbed. It was a tough game for him. I think he will still be influential. Oh, absolutely, no doubt. There's no point in judging everyone in this for this game, guys. It's a one-off. It's a one-off game. There's no point in judging it. It's like you don't play a full team. Chiesa is going to look so much better playing with Mo and Gakpo and Jota and proper midfielders like Szoboszlai, Grav and Maka, and having maybe Robbo and a Trent around him. It's going to be, and Bradley. It's going to be so different, completely different. So we can't judge it. Chris says the commentary was atrocious. They gave no context that he was a reserves, not first. Oh my God, the ITV channel. I need to talk about ITV. Actually, we should maybe cover to ITV for a second. They were going on like this was the Premier League leaders were playing, like our first 11 were playing, like. It was actually a disgrace to broadcast to journalism. I am confident to say that Anfield Index does better commentary than them. Like I'm 100% confident. That's not. Maybe someone wants to put a sign up behind me to stay humble, but there's no need for me to be humble. In that commentary was a disgrace. Yeah, it was an absolute disgrace. They were talking nonsense, Mr. Wa, and I didn't have Matterface on. I think maybe it was Matterface, but best team in the world. Like it was Matterface, was it on ITV?
I think he supports United as well. I think.
Yeah, it was awful. Like it was a disgrace to, like I said, disgrace to broadcast journalism that he was trying to pull that off over, people's eyes as if like it was, Liverpool that play in the Champions League is playing here. Bullshit, man. Like I wasn't too bothered by anything, but I was like, whoa, you guys are taking the piss a little bit here, and I was just like, our channel is our fan channel. That's I know we've got a pro section where there's professionals in either the game or have played, like Jan Molby played, so we can say that we have pundits on that know what they're talking about. Maybe they're good in stats, maybe they're good in sports science, so they talk from that angle, so they know it. But hey, I've got a football qualification in analyzing football too, and I wouldn't say that, right? So I'm probably more qualified than Matterface in talking about football, to be fair to me, and that is atrocious. It's just putting it out there to make Liverpool look bad. And yeah, you're a disgrace, Sam Matterface, to the broadcast journalism. Absolutely rubbish. And then let me not even talk about the adverts, Jack. There was an advert in there in between on ITV. I don't know, you weren't probably watching because you were focused on the thing, but me and my daughter were watching it. There's this kid eating chocolates, right? Well, it's chocolate covered peanuts, right? And she's spitting the nut out into a. So she's eating the chocolate or sucking the chocolate off and putting the peanut into a plate. And they're at a party. And this guy is just eating these nuts. And she's like sick with like snot coming out of her nose and stuff. And it's an advert about medicines. And I just thought, this has got to be one of the most disgraceful adverts I've ever fucking seen in my life. It made me feel like it was awful. And then the guy who's eating the nuts is going to like going to the pharmacy. He's like, oh, I need, she goes, yeah, there's a flu going around at the moment. And then she gives him, oh, you got a deal on medicine. Woo, that was what the advert was.
Gags Tandon show gone west. If you just tuned in, yeah, this is a post-match analysis.
I promised my daughter that was the most interesting thing out of the whole afternoon that would be discussed on this post-match. So I'm just living up to my promise. Anyway, that's the ITV section covered up. A disgrace. Thankfully, we don't have to be on them anymore. So yeah, Carabao, I'm not watching it on ITV. I'll be watching it on Sky, wherever it is.
But it's just rival fans though, mate, isn't it? Like they'll use this. We've only lost, as we said, four games this season. We've lost. One was in
Let me tell you something.
Two of those. We love it. We love it because they've been waiting every single week to they watch Liverpool games. Like we don't sit there and we watch our Liverpool games. But like the Saturday watching Liverpool games, like enjoy the weekends. Must be very difficult when they're seeing Liverpool win most weeks. So long may continue. Like
I think they I think it's okay. It's
secret okay. Secret Liverpool fans, maybe. I don't know.
Look, attack of the advert. Sometimes we should eat humble pie, right? Sometimes our fan base should get pulled down a peg or two. Sometimes I think everyone deserves to be pulled down a peg or two. And if today's the day we get pulled down, then it should not hurt our egos. We should own it. We love this club. We ride or die with them. And they lost today. We lost. At the end of the day, we also admit it's not the highest priority of the season and we have bigger fish to fry. And if we lose on Wednesday or in one of the Premier League games, that's going to hurt us way more. I will be livid more for a game like that if we didn't show up for those games. So yeah, I'm sorry if you're joining in to maybe hate watch and think that I'm going to be ranting about it. The only thing I'd rant about is really ITV. Not too pissed about anything else. Jack.
Yeah, I was just checking there on the stats. They only had one big chance, Plymouth, in all game, but that's football. Yeah. That's like that's the beauty of football sometimes. Like it doesn't matter all the protection in the world.
The same as you.
Yeah,
the same as you there. The sad thing is Plymouth didn't create anything.
Penalty, really just only the penalty.
That's it.
Well, it's the was it only 2 shots on target for Plymouth as well, compared to Liverpool's 4 shots on target. So big chances. Liverpool had 3 big chances in that game. Can we remember them? It was the ball when it come across the front post. Yeah, I tell you what, the Plymouth right back though, Gags. Shout out to him. He was my man of the match. How are they like? They didn't perform like they were bottom of the championship though, like in terms of like appreciating their quality. But it's gonna be one of them. Like I honestly couldn't believe watching that game that they're bottom of the championship. And being honest, I know we had lots of changes, but if they play like that from now to the end of the May, I think they might these should survive in the Championship. I know they're a couple of points off anyway, but what are they?
Well, they just invested in those 2 centre backs, which have changed some of their recent performances. I think they've only lost 2 out of the last 8. They'd only won 2 out of the last 8, but they started drawing more games recently. If you look deeper into their results, they've actually improved a lot since they bought them. And that Matic, what was his name? Katic, Katic played well. I thought he was man of the match. Literally headed everything out of the box. So yeah, it was good. Oh, here you go. They got the right wing back from I can't even say that name. Joseph. Last year. There you go, Joseph. Well, nice football. Nice football knowledge there, my friend. Nice. Yeah, Sam Matterface hated us. Absolutely. Who cares? Who cares about Sam Matterface? Attackers will be kicking themselves. Wow, I think they'll be looking back at the midfield and saying, "Hey,
can you pass me the ball?
Give me the ball." You know? Yeah, Katic. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. What else is there to talk about? I don't think we should really go too deep into this. Jack, I know you were upset. I was watching the watch along, and you were pretty pissed at this performance. And I was like, "This is going to be an interesting post match."
It's because if I was Slot's assistant, I'd be just telling some of them, like, just come on, lads. You're the senior professionals in the team, and you can't cross a ball, mate. Like, I'm sick of watching Costas and Elliott trying to whip in balls into the penalty box and just always constantly hitting the first man. Just little things like that do me head in. Because if they want to be getting into the starting 11, they've got so much work they need to do. Like, honestly, like they need so much work that they need to do to get into the starting 11. I don't think they will in the next 12 months because I think, and that's where you've got to look and to improve that quality for me, mate. You know, improve the quality.
Here's Eddie. I'm not sure I understand. Gizo Gags as it what? What you think Virgil Silence are the same as fans? Oh, absolutely not. They didn't give a shit.
No, they're probably sat at home.
I don't get it, Eddie. What do you mean, Gizo Gags? What did I do? I thought I'd been pretty calm.
Yes, I've been no good.
Jimmy P saying, yeah, it's not too deep. The midfield were too inexperienced, especially after Endo was pushed back to CB. I don't think Endo's going to create much, though, lads, to be honest, Jimmy.
No.
You know? From
he's a whole midfielder.
Yeah, he's not going to create much, and I don't think there was going to be much in there with it. Maybe Elliott would have done something if Endo was in there back with McConnell.
Could you imagine if we didn't have Endo, though, Gags, and chat, where we would be this season?
Yeah.
Like, in terms of these,
we wouldn't have got to the Carabao final, would we, without him for the early rounds?
Like, and that just goes to show how threadbare in certain areas as a team we are. Like, so it's a big summer indeed in a lot of positions for all of us in the team. So,
yeah. Well, I'm wondering what Eddie meant, but he's not come back, so we'll carry on. Anything else you need to cover? I think we've gone 48 minutes talking about this game. Did we talk much about the game, actually? I don't know.
No. Kelleher, if it wasn't for him, would have been about 2 or 3-0 down. I think that save that he made with his left boot tipping it onto the post. Yeah, Gomez injured. McConnell, probably one of Liverpool's better players. I don't know how Costas, I'm looking on FootMob, somehow got a 7.8. I don't know what. Yeah, I felt he had about 5 out of 10. Other than that, yeah, inexperienced side. The players that did play today, the ones that you'd expect to maybe get into the starting 11 weren't good enough. Slot learned a lot more than he did 2 hours ago about certain individuals in this team, and it's going to be a big summer for a lot of them, really.
I think Kone Doherty looked good when he came on.
Would have liked to see a bit more like him on the ball, really, but yeah, he's a
really confident
top player. And Nguma didn't really get an opportunity. I think I spoke on the Daily Red this morning thinking that would have liked to have seen him given an opportunity, but I think that indicates possibly that Arnie Slot.
So big. They were so big. That team was they looked really physical and big, didn't they?
Yeah,
like they push you over type thing. But
he's got to learn some way though in terms of the team. So possibly. I don't
know. Nothing much else really. I don't know. I don't want to really overjudge anyone. It was that's what's going to happen when you play such a a weak team midfield. That's what you need, 4 or 5 solid quality midfielders. So you can rotate proper 3 for 3 each time if you want to, and we just don't have that at the moment. And some of the squad places, maybe like Elliott's, things like that. Those are the ones that need to be replaced, you know, and to get a stronger midfielder in instead. I don't think that's where it's working at the moment. And yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we do, how we go about it, but hey, bigger fish to fry in the coming days. We'll be back on Wednesday, won't we?
Oh, the big one. That is Mahoosive, whatever. Where do you want to describe the Goodison derby? The last one at Goodison. We need to win that. We need to win that. We need to.
100%. It's our freebie. This is our freebie. We need to go in there looking to get the 9 point lead. You know, we just got to. That's how it's got to be. So, got to treat that as a big cup final.
It is.
And then you got Wolves next, and then it's Villa and City. Holy crap! It's just big game after big game after that.
Tick them all off, mate, isn't it? So
yeah, I think. Well, Alexander, I'm not sure. The derby doesn't make this. What's it got to do with the derby? This game? What? Like what? They don't. None of the players in this game are probably going to play in the derby. So I don't know what that means. It's just your fears coming to the fore here for no reason. I don't think it relates to it at all. Like I don't think the players that are sitting at home are going to look at that and go, oh my god, now we've got to go Everton. They've been sitting at home chilling. They're going to be all right.
They'll be made up with the rest, well and truly earned.
Yeah, and if they get after this little slot of games, if this slot of games that we've got coming up, if there's a gap, you know, between the Champions League and the last game in the Champions League bit, I think they'll be happy to get that week back, you know, because that's where the FA Cup would have gone. So it'll be fine. Yeah, we do, Tony. We do have to give Plymouth credit. We have to give Plymouth credit, and they worked out and wanted more than us today. Most disappointing thing was our squad players weren't up for it, and maybe so. Who do you think starts against? Who starts a striker against Everton? It's an interesting one, right?
Kelleher, because he had a shot on target today. I'm trying to think.
I think Darwin probably starts, right? Because he came on only for a bit.
Possibly, yeah.
It's going to be Gakpo, Darwin, and Mo, maybe, just because Jota and Diaz played the whole game today.
Yeah, possibly, mate. It depends out from a tactical point, because if we do what we've done today, I know it's a completely different team, but we can't go into the Everton game and start spamming balls into the penalty box. Tarkowski and the lads, that's what they thrive on. They love it. So a bit more technicality, possibly even I'd expect. Obviously, Gakpo off the left, Salah on the right, and then, as you said, mate, maybe Nunes, but I think he might go with Diaz again, because he has done in some of the big games already this season.
Tony said he'd play Jota.
Yeah. So he looks
no passion. Oh, no passion in the FA Cup gets you nothing. Fair play, Simon.
Yeah.
Fair play. Need a clinical finisher. Yeah, so that's Tony saying that's why he'd go for Jota, by the way. Eddie has come back and said he's watching on delay, and his comments were Gizo as if is basically when I said he wasn't watching earlier. That Eddie's probably not watching, so we can't get Slot's comments. That's why he said, Gizo, what do you think? He goes, what do you think? Do you think Mo and Allison and Van Dijk are doing at home? They're chilling, like me. Can't be on every game. Yeah, so he's calling himself the first team, basically. Jack,
Eddie, you deserve your rest, mate. You've been working hard, so
yeah. Eddie first team Gibbs. That's what he's going to be, and that's why he's. Is he even what? Yeah, he's going to be chat G&G for me, isn't he? When I'm away in a couple of weeks' time with Grizz, it's going to be Grizz and Gibbs, or Gibbs and Grizz, however they want to do it. So.
I think you're on tomorrow with aren't you, mate? Eddie. He's on with yeah, you're on tomorrow. I think one of the shows anyway. I think he is. Yeah,
I can't remember.
With David Lynch. No? Yeah, the Lynch with Lynch tomorrow. Oh, yeah, there we go. So
well, Gibbsy returns then with Lynch, so back to the first team squad tomorrow. Not much of a rest for him then.
I think. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
we might have disappointed people now with that. Anyway, I think this is slowly fading out. 55 minutes in. We don't want to go too long.
We've done well to get 54 minutes out of this. I
know we've done really well, mate. And there's like nearly 1,400 people. What are you doing? Come over to YouTube. Come on, subscribe. Come on, subscribe and like the channel, please. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. That's right, the right way around. and please do support us on this journey.
Yeah.
So we turned 14, and the 15th year's first game starts with well, I guess that was the first one. So we won and got to Wembley. So in one, we got to Wembley. In the second game of the 15th year, we got knocked out of the FA Cup. So maybe this is what the video should be called, Stay Humble. And yeah, we should definitely stay humble. Yeah, tomorrow he is live at 10:30 a.m. with David Lynch, folks, because Dave Davis is on holiday.
Enjoy,
so another
Dave.
first teamer away.
Yeah.
There you go. Getting some rest. Ready for the end, that 5-game.
Then if you chock
Thanks,
block it.
Mr. Wah. Thank you very much. And yeah, we will try and enjoy the rest of our Sunday. I'm going to get some rest in because I've been working mad all week. So yeah, we're gonna try and get some rest in for another mad week coming up. And yeah, we're still going to Wembley, Alexander, for sure. For sure, we're still going to Wembley. No biggie. What does Tony say? Let's look at positively. We now get some rest games, and distraction of the quad is over. Yeah, we shouldn't be talking quads. That's where I say stay humble, Reds. Let's try and win one. Jack, any final thoughts before we go?
Let's get into these on Wednesday. Come on, that's all it needs. We know the job in hand. Let's do it. Maka, the lads are going to be straight out of the blocks. Hopefully, they've had a nice Sunday off. The majority of the Liverpool's first team, and hopefully they're not doing too much. Jota wishes he was playing FIFA anyway, but sadly he was playing up front, and we needed a goal from him. But yeah. Massive thank you as always, mate, for having me on. And a massive thank you to everyone that has tuned in this afternoon as well, Reds. Much appreciated. As Gag said, head over to the YouTube. We haven't already subscribed. We just passed 7,000, but let's get to 10K by the end of the season.
Have we gone past 7,000 subscribers now?
Yeah. So let's get to 10K before the end of the season. That'd be a big achievement for everyone as well. So
that's amazing for really kicking it off in earnest in October, November time. We're doing great. You know, we're growing slowly. We're getting there. It's all about getting there slowly. And we just really appreciate all of you that have subscribed, you know, since we started doing this properly. And yeah, if you get us to a real good number, it's going to be really positive for the whole channel and for you know, us as a collective overall. And we'll be able to do even better for you guys and do more and more and more. We'll just be able to reinvest stuff back into, you know, into the channel to do even better content. So Damo's going to be flat out working hard to stay humble next week. Pala says time's flown. Thank you. Cheers, Damo. Thank you, Tony. We appreciate all the support. Thank you, Jack, for jumping on again after a long day. I know you've been working behind the scenes as well, a lot on videos and doing hard work. So thank you very much for that. To the rest of you, try and enjoy your Sunday. Don't worry about it too much. You know, sometimes you got to take a kick, you got to get knocked down, you got to come back up. So this squad, yeah, the periphery of it's going to probably feel a bit low. They can prove themselves as subs when they come on and, you know, kick some ass maybe at Everton. Maybe if Diaz comes on against Everton, scores a worldie, or Chiesa does, you know, or Darwin or Jota do, today will be forgotten big time. It'll be in the past. Absolutely. We won't have to worry about it. So think about it in that way. Think about positively that we've got 5 games to win in a row. Want to do it. Got to do it. First up, Everton. Let's get the 3 points. Stay humble, Reds. Have a great one.
See you as well.